Welcome back, everyone. Let's now move on to a power pack panel discussion. The topic is Everyone's an Influencer, How to Break the Clutter. In conversation with Viraj Sheth, co-founder and CEO Monk Entertainment, joined by Chef Sanjot Kheer, digital content creator and founder of Your Food Lab, Anchal Agarwal, digital content creator and stand-up comedian, Abhiraj Rajadaksha, aka Abhi, digital content creator, Niyati Mavin Kurve, aka Niu, digital content creator, and Radhika Bangia, digital content creator, actress, and model. Over to you, Viraj.
Thank you so much. Good to finally be doing a panel again. I think it's been forever since you can hear me, right? Okay, awesome. It's been forever since I think the world has opened up that we're doing a virtual panel again. It's both sweet and bitter memories about doing virtual panels. Good to have all of you guys. Thankfully, we represent all of you guys, super talented across each genre. I'm just going to start with the initial bunch of questions and then make it super conversational. So, I mean, we know each other, so there doesn't have to be any small talk about this. But yeah, just from the topic of how the world has changed now again, and I'm going to only bring up COVID in this first question, and then we're not going to talk about it ever again in this panel. But how has world changed for you guys now? I see that Anchal, for example, you're doing a lot of stand-up comedy now that things have opened up. Radhika, you've traveled on and off. In some of these times, you're also back to physical shoots now. You're also going to be shooting for some movies and things like that. How has world opened up and changed for you? I know, Chef, for you the thing is always that you have to be in your kitchen, so I don't think it was a difference for you anyway. But I see you traveling a lot now, and Abhi and even you guys, you guys also have your indoor setup, but is it something that you guys are exploring on the outside as well? How has world changed for you now that we're almost back to things again, and hopefully Omicron doesn't, ruin our happiness again? Just let's start with you, Anchal.
Oh, wow, I have to unmute myself first. Yeah. So I think it's pretty much getting back to normal now, but there is always that slight anxiety at the back of your head that what if you end up getting in like a dangerous situation in terms of the virus and all. And for me, I'm a performer. If I'm going to stand-up shows and all, my main priority is that if people are coming to my show, I should not compromise their safety just for a couple of jokes. I think it's not as important for that. So I've been also kind of performing on and off, but it's not full-fledged yet because there the rooms and so many venues and all, they're not taking as much precautions. So I'm still pretty much in my head kind of really guarded, and I'm doing things from my home as much as possible. So mentally I don't think that I am over the pandemic as yet.
Cool. Interesting. What about you, Radhika? What's happening on your front? What's your state of mind like? You're muted. Yeah, I miss saying this, man. You're on mute. Unmute yourself. Wait, I still can't hear you though. Your audio is a little amiss. No, I can't hear you. Is it just me? Yeah, I can say something. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I think it's the same as Anchal. I think I'm still not over the pandemic, but there are times, when you're traveling and everyone's just you see people not wearing masks, and it pretty much feels like back to normal. Like I went to the BTS concert recently, and there were so many people.
That's crazy. Where was this?
This was in LA.
Okay.
Permission to Dance. I think it was their first concert after the COVID, BTS.
Right.
Yeah, so there were people from all around the world, and I don't think a lot of people were wearing masks. So at that, I feel like for those 4 hours, I fully forgot that COVID exists.
Right.
yeah, but then when you hear the news and stuff and you're like, oh, okay, it's
Yeah.
not over yet. So things are, I mean, I'm glad like it's not as bad as like last year. I feel like I think it's great that things are opening up and like you can actually physically go to shoots, which like we couldn't do that for the last 2 years. We like
Yeah, the
just
set
sitting at
life is
home.
good, right? I mean, that's what actors really look forward to, the set life. Everyone was so like bored shooting through their phones.
Yeah, like 2 years just like in the house, just shooting content, forcing yourself to be creative, to come up with
Yeah.
stuff we can do at home.
Yeah,
So I think it's
that's
nice
really
to
it
be
now.
like, yeah, it's nice to be on a set, but even on a set, I feel there's like a lot of restrictions. Like it's not like it used to be.
It's not the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to just live forward like with this whole virus on our back, essentially. What about
Yeah.
you, Chef? What's happening? How's life different for you essentially now?
So, like you said, I always joke about this that, I've been in a lockdown for the past 6 years because I've been always in my kitchen cooking all the time, shooting every day.
Yeah.
But with COVID, as a content creator, you have to be in a very good mental state where, you have to have that motivation to create some good content, positive content. And when things are not right around you, you sort of feel a little pulled back and you think about now, if things are not right, how can I cook something really beautiful and show it to people, something of that sort. But when we were in lockdown, my team moved in, so both the lockdowns my team was living with me, and so that was different, where the whole
Mhm.
team was staying in the house. We were creating content, and now when we are not in a lockdown, they get to go back to home, so that's different.
Right.
uh, yeah, otherwise it's always been about creating, like, just trying to create the best content possible, like in whatever situations.
Got it. Solid. Solid. Makes sense. I like the idea that you mentioned that you've been in lockdown for 6 years.
Yeah.
What about you, Abhi, and you? What's happening on your front? Any
So,
differences now with content, with life?
of course, a lot of differences, but we started as travel content creators. We used to travel everywhere and make videos, but it just seems like so back in the past that we've been making videos from this house for the last, say, 1.5 years now. So it just feels like it's been so long since we have traveled and we really want to continue traveling again. We are just hoping that 2022 will be different than 2021, but it just scares us that this is what we thought in the end of 2020 as well, that 2021 will be different. So we are taking things a little slow and hoping that 2022 will actually be different. Baki, everybody has covered.
Yeah.
No? Fair. Anything you want to add on to that, New?
No. It's all good.
Solid.
We have a lot of big plans in the future, but it all depends on the virus and how it decides to act. So,
The
yeah,
virus is controlling our lives.
I know quite literally.
Cool. Interesting thoughts. What I want to move on to next is just to discuss a lot of I have two creators here who've actually been quite solid in terms of focus on the kind of genre of content that you wanted to build, right? Like Chef, you've always done only food content. Abhi and you focus very specifically on all things infotainment. Whereas Anshul and Radhika, you've tried your hands on multiple things, right? Like you have Anshul, like for example, you have a separate page for all your lifestyle content, and which is just freeloading, right? Like you upload whatever you want on that page. You do stand-up comedy. You're big on F1 as well. So you're covering the side of sport as well, but adding humor to it. Radhika, with regards to you, you've tried your hand at gaming, dance, and comedy, and you're also big on acting. So, like, what is it? And also, Chef, I know that now you're moving on to, you're doing things with your wife, you're uploading content, lifestyle driven. You're also big on sneakers. So I don't know if a sneaker channel is going to be up and running anytime soon. With you guys, Abhi and you started a specific finance driven channel. So just the question is, are you guys looking to innovate more? What's your strategy like in terms of content? Like what is it that you guys want to do? Someone has a very tunnel vision focus in terms of what they want to do. Others are focused on exploring multiple personalities and multiple capabilities of their own, and bring it into their own content. So what's your sort of strategy been like? Let's start in the reverse order. Let's go with Abhi and you on this.
Ultimately, we have to be authentic to the core, because if you are not authentic and you are only following a trend because somebody else is successful at it, then it's not going to work out for you. So whatever you do, it needs to be authentic. It needs to come from your heart. Baki, a creator should never put themselves in a box that this is what we do. It should be an extension of their authentic self. Now, suppose I don't cook, but suppose I want to learn cooking, then I am sure that people will be able to will love to experience it with me, as long as it's authentic, as long as I am not doing it only because food content is working well. So yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, and when it comes to innovating, the same point applies, because every time you're innovating, you're moving out of your comfort zone, you're trying something new for the first time. So you have got to be really patient with yourself and give yourself a little bit of room to learn, because you'll be catching up on a lot of ground because you're trying something absolutely new. So those are our few thoughts about innovation. Like, we're still doing that in terms of the finance channel, still figuring out our way still.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's growing. Finance has been like a super booming space in general in the last 2 years. So good to see you catch in on the wave as well. And I know this is something you've been wanting to do since a while. What about you, Chef? What's happening in the content front?
So I still believe there's so much more to do with food. It's a very vast topic to cover, and I started creating content with one vision to make Indian food look more sexier, and that's what we've tried to do in these 5 years. And I hope and I believe that we've achieved that quite a lot. But I still believe that there's so much more to do. And yes, I'm building a lot of different kinds of content pieces now. Looking forward to 2022, it's going to be more of collaborations, more of series-based content, more of focusing on one thing with food and just deep diving into how do I create content, how do I think about new recipes. So a lot more with food is going to come, and I believe I'm really focused with food so much day in and day out that that is always going to be the focus. As Abhi said, that you have to be authentic, and I can be 100% authentic with food. And I believe in that day in and day out. So that is always going to be the focus. Like you mentioned about me creating content with Payal and about sneakers, that's that personal side of me. I have been very people have always seen the food side of me, but yeah, there is that audience which wants to see that personal side. I try to do that whenever possible. Yeah, but I want to keep it authentic, like Abhi said.
Got it. Cool, solid. So hopefully we get a new sneaker channel some down the line.
Definitely.
What about you, Radhika? What's your strategy on the content front? I see you trying a lot of different things, and that's fantastic about you. You've done even gaming, reaction videos, you've done comedy. Have you tried your hand at singing also, if I'm not wrong? No.
No,
okay.
no,
Okay.
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe after like 100 singing lessons or something. But,
yeah, you should. Yeah, but what's been the strategy there?
So since I started social media, I was mostly doing like comedy, relatable content, and dancing. And during this COVID lockdown time, I got addicted to K-dramas.
Right.
Okay. And I was literally just watching it because I enjoyed it so much, and it made me forget about the fact that there's COVID out there. Right. It's like, and then I was and I started making content like very recently. I started creating content around K-drama, and the kind of response that I got was very unexpected. I was like, wow, there are so many people out there who enjoy K-dramas as much as I do. So my strategy is basically just to focus more on gaming, K-drama, and K-pop, because I know there's a huge audience for it, and Absolutely. It's something. Yeah, and it's something I'm passionate about. I feel like if you're passionate about something, it kind of like shows through, and people can see that. So yeah, that's my
K-dramas is the way to go. I didn't know that that's a very specific niche, but yeah, it's definitely got like a massive audience. The biggest music band in the world today is BTS, right?
Yeah, and
so definitely has its own audience.
And like, I feel like on my page, like I want to keep trying new things. I want to do comedy, but the most amount of engagement I get on is K-pop and K-drama.
Oh,
So-
okay. Interesting
So
insight.
subconsciously, I'm like, oh, I have to make more because that's what's, making me reach people. So
Makes sense. What
Mhm.
about you, Anshul? What's happening? I see you doing a lot of content around F1 as well. Is that going to be constant? What's happening?
Yeah, so like we've been discussing also, my idea is to really grow horizontally and maybe create more share more things that I have to my personality, like I'm not just this funny person. I can do like a lot more things. I know sports, Formula One really well, so I talk about it, and especially on my Twitter. My Twitter is like literally for like discussing sports with people from around the world, and it has really helped me reach so many people as well. And now that the trend is catching up here also in India, so it actually presents a very big opportunity to make that sport also popular in India.
Mhm.
And thanks to Drive to Survive and thanks to other content pieces that people have created around the sport, so it really helps to make people understand that what you've been passionate about for so long. So Formula One is of course one thing, and then I'm trying to get into like beauty content also, because like how Abhi and you said that you have to like really be authentic. So I'm just like in the process of finding that one spot where I can authentically do the beauty genre that is happening around. And there is just so much clutter at the moment, like all beauty creators are kind of doing like similar things with their
Right.
own personality in. But I just really want to be my authentic self and break that clutter also, and like I don't know, expand horizontally. It's like really like how I'm going in with my body also at the moment, so it sounds really funny, so, but yeah, I really want to like do an horizontal expansion. Oh my god, what are you saying?
Nice,
But yeah,
nice term. Yeah,
that's
no,
the
fair.
idea. But
No, I see you doing a lot of interesting stuff in beauty and fashion when you put up all these images and videos of you in weddings, and then you put in a funny caption
Yeah.
to it. I mean, that adds a different flavor to it. People, I think it's more shareable. People relate to it a lot better and whatnot. But no, that's fantastic.
I
Yeah.
think more than anything else, it's on the like slice of life side, like
Yeah.
because you can't take someone's personality out of their content at all.
Yeah,
Like even if like let's say tomorrow I start doing food content with Sanjot, I would still be Anchal. So that the funny, sarcastic, slice of life side will always be there, and I think people usually enjoy that also. Like like we see how vlogs are so popular. We just want to like kind of enjoy a person's personality when we connect with them, maybe learn things. So we have also started like those small vlog type reels where we just talk about things that we have done in life. Like I shared like how 30 years of my life have been and all those things. So people really appreciated that content also. It's just like trying to get the hang of it, like how to not lose our own authentic self while doing the horizontal expansion.
No, fair. Makes sense. Which brings me to the point where, I mean, see, with reels and with all these fast-paced avenues now open to creators, what's happening? Like, what puts you and sets you different as a creator? Like, Anshul, you've also been wanting to diversify. I think you finally recently started a YouTube channel, for example, and and understand the sort of requirement to diversify your content. What's happening on that front? What would you like? Each one of you've been in the space for a long while now. What is your like one tip or couple of tips for creators in general to want to stand out, right? I mean, because it's become so congested now. There's so much clutter around. Creators, everyone with a camera and phone essentially is a creator now, right? But how do you sort of stand out a little bit, or at least do something different from what's already being served to the audiences? Or is it that you don't try to be too different also, but just be your authentic self and people will fall in love with that side of you? What's your approach on things like these? BNU, let's start with you.
It absolutely depends on your genre. I mean, in some genres you would just like to see something that has been said before, something that that everybody experiences from a different angle. For example, I see Ashish Chanchlani make videos about commerce versus science. That debate is ages old and everybody has gone through it at some point in their lives. But I would love to see what Ashish Chanchlani has to say about science versus commerce. I would love to see him put his humorous angle to it. So that is something that people have been discussing since before we were born. But still, that is still exciting, that is still interesting for me because it is relatable. So in some genres, relatable content works better, and in some genres, something unique would work better. I'm sure Sanjot would relate to it just by looking at the viewership of certain dishes that are popular and that are common. Will have more viewership because more people will be interested in it. So at the end, it is again the same, that you have to find that sweet spot somewhere, that maybe experiment a little bit with a few videos which are unique, which are just breaking the box, as I said again, and some videos that are just fan service because people are expecting it. People want to see the content that is relatable to them. So yeah.
Yeah, and a few tips for content creators who are in genres where things have been said, but then you still have to do something. Like even in finance, the thing is everybody has said the same 5 or 6 things before on a particular topic.
Right.
So the way you can probably stand out is the way you put things together. It's like everybody has the same Lego pieces to play with. So what you ultimately end up building in the video is actually what will define you. So
Right.
yeah, so that's how you approach it. So think of every video content or even shorts or reels content as box of Lego pieces,
Lego.
and then you keep constructing it. Unless of course you're following a trend on reels or something where you're still kind of like you have a predetermined pattern and you're just putting your tadka to it.
Got it. No, that's solid advice, man. I mean, in terms of everyone has the same pieces, but everyone's creativity could lead to something different totally, right? So you build your own thing. That's solid advice. What about you, Radhika?
I mean, I feel the exact same way. I feel like if someone who's starting off, they really have to experiment because you never know what's going to work on social media. Like sometimes, you could do relatable comedy and people will be like, oh my God, that's so relatable. And you can sort of grow in that space. Or sometimes, I mean, consistency is not enough. Sometimes you're required to put it's like quality over quantity and, something more creative. So I feel like for a creator, you just have to keep experimenting until you figure out what works for you and what connects you with the audience. And I think it really helps also because there is just so much content on the web now, on social media and YouTube. There is like a pressure to be consistent and also be active on all platforms. It really helps with like visibility. So if you're say active on like YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, I think that really helps to reach people. So yeah, just
solid advice again. What about you, Anshul? What's the thought on this?
So I also I think that everyone sees the same world, but everyone sees the world same world differently. So even if all jokes have been told, there are only 20-21 stories in the world, and we are just redoing them. Like Titanic is what Romeo Juliet on the ship, right? So it's the same stories that we have been telling for so long, but we tell it differently, and that is, I think, what makes it interesting, and that is how you can break the clutter by being yourself and showing your audience and your followers the world through your eyes, how you see it and how you present it and how you learn from it. So which is what I have been trying, and which is what that worked so well for me. Like when I started making reels and short form content, I actually did not know how to begin with because there were so many big players already, and it was really you always have that thing in your mind that I think it's already done so much and I can't do it. And I started with doing what people were doing, the trends that were happening and whatever videos were working, the kind of reels that people were doing, and it didn't do anything for me. And then I just made like one funny video of me just talking to people like this is happening, and this boy ditched me, and this happened this happened because of that. I was on an airport and this happened at the airport, and why are so many young people on dating apps? Like, you guys go to college, just like find someone physically, like let the dating apps be for us. And those thoughts that 30 someone has, and and it blew up. Like everyone really wanted to they're like, how are you talking like that? And oh, your Hindi is so good. And I always kind of lived in this, right? Like, I don't know any other language. I was like, I just know Hindi, I know English. And you are a 30-year-old, it feels like you're too old to learn now something. And because even if you learn, you don't get the feel of it, right?
Yeah.
So I always had that, like, jinko Punjabi aati hai, they can do so well. The Punjabi sounds so nice and so comedic. Like, people, really find it very endearing and all.
Yeah.
And then I realized the kind of Hindi that I speak, very few people do. And I just did my thing. I just, made my videos with the words that my mom uses at home, the slang that we use at home, how people talk in Indore, how I actually talk when I talk in Hindi with my buddies. So, and it blew up. So it is, and maybe I was talking about the same things that people talk. Everyone talks about waiting in queues at the airports. Everyone talks about being single and dating apps, but they don't talk like I talk. So that is really important, I think, for anyone, for any influencer, content creator, or any artist for that matter.
Yeah, no, that's true. The way you speak, the language you have, the kind of stories you tell is very like unique and specific to you.
Yeah.
So no, that totally makes sense. Fantastic advice there. Just find your own voice in things, and people will be attracted to your style of content instead of just sticking to the algorithm, believing in the algorithm, always clinging on to it all the time. And that's something I know that Sanjot, you also stick to very specifically, right? You don't care about what's popping, what's trending right now. You're just razor focused on your style of content and what you truly enjoy making. So that's what really brings in the right kind of then it doesn't feel like a job again, right? You truly feel like wanting to create something, waking up and feeling like, okay, let's create magic today again. And that's such a core part of the whole process with creators, right? Because otherwise there's just too many issues that come at fore, which again leads me to the next question, and would want each one of you to have your own thoughts on this. What do you think are the issues that sort of plague this industry? And it could be anything from mental health to just lack of transparency with dealing with brands and agencies and things like that. It could be literally anything. I just want you guys to open your heart out on this, because I feel like we don't talk a lot about things that plague the influencer industry per se. We're always talking about how to deal with hate and all of that. Like, that's the usual. How to work with brands, that's the usual. But let's chat a little bit about this. Let's start with you, Aanchal.
So I think adding from the previous question also, even when we do things like that come authentically and naturally to us, it's still a job. It does make it like half the job done if you don't have to put in get into another personality like acting or something else. But it still is a job. And as creators, we got into this was a new dynamic field. We wanted to be heard by people, seen by people, share our stories, our perspectives. But from not getting into like a job that shuts the office at 5 p.m., you are in a job that is 24/7 running. Like, your office is right here in your head, and you're all the time thinking about content. You're living your life and you think, oh my god, this is relatable, this is content, I can do this. It's always in your mind. Like, you can't switch off your mind. And especially us, like all of us Indians and maybe South Asians, we are people who were raised to hustle, grind, be competitive, do better than the next person. And to add on to it, content creation has so many numbers attached to it, right? Your number of likes, your number of followers, then number of views, then that takes you another monetary numbers. What what numbers is the brand paying you, what numbers is the platform paying you. So it's just so much. And for a creator, it gets so overwhelming sometimes, because you're creating also and you're doing all the admin work also. it doesn't stop. You are like a filmmaker, and you are the editor, you are the writer, you
You are the
do the
accountant.
lighting, सब कुछ तुम ही कर रहे हो, and it's so exhausting. And what a lot of people don't understand that it is a job. The world, I think, especially in South Asia, people have still not taken it seriously. Like it's actually a job, and someone is doing it as something that puts food on the table. So you do a sponsored post and people will be like, time to unfollow you. This is like a sentence that truly prevails on the internet. Time to unfollow you. You also started doing this branded work. But dude, that's kind of my job.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
That's my paycheck. Yeah.
And people think that you're creating videos for attention. Of course. If I did not want attention, I would have written it in my diary. Why would I put it on the Insta?
Yeah, exactly. Only when you have attention will brands come to you in the first place.
And even if for someone who doesn't want brands or money, who's doing just for doing it, for having fun, that person still wants attention. That is why
so that they can make the social change or whatever it is.
You put things outside for the world for attention, and it's just like so much bullying, so much for paid promotions and all. Then I have been very fortunate that my team, your team, these people have been like really kind to me. They let me have my time when I don't feel like doing something. I don't really have like really tight deadlines to work on. But I've seen creators have really bad time with dealing with brands. Like they just don't understand that it's kind of a problem.
Creativity doesn't come like just, it's not a switch. Yeah. That's true. No, I understand that. But what about you, Sanjot? What do you feel about this? What are the issues that you feel have been sort of plaguing our industry?
I feel a lot of people, make content starting with thinking about numbers. They think that chalo ye chal raha hai, ye trend ho raha hai, chalo ye kar lete, and that is how we are going to grow. But unfortunately, it's not like that. A trend will work for a time, but then it will go off, and then if you get to that peak during that trend, you feel left out of that after that trend is over, and then you don't get organic growth, and then you don't know what to do now. So that's the worst thing to do, is to start with just thinking about कि मेरे को viewers चाहिए, I want likes and I want to earn money. The numbers part is the first thing how people start out with. I feel the first focus should always be that, why are you creating content today? That's the first initial thing. Like how I started, I wanted to make food look good. I wanted to make Indian food videos very practical because they were really long on TV. Right. So these were a few, reasons why I started making food content, and I've always focused on that. And with all the changes in place, like, that I was a short form content creator on Facebook, grew really fast over there, but then that slowed down suddenly. And if I would not have transitioned, it wouldn't have worked out for me now. So I used that as a funnel, and then I transitioned into my long format videos on Instagram, on YouTube, etc. So I just feel a lot of young people who just started out creating content feel that if they grow big on Reels, it's going to continue for the next 10 years. But sorry, it's not going to happen. You need to start thinking about, how do I use this as a funnel and do more substantial things, diversify, and go on. So I think a lot of people get lost into that numbers game, which should not happen with creative people. Yeah.
Got it. What about you, Radhika? What do you think?
I feel like it's also very toxic to get into that number game mindset, because it's never ending, and you want to keep growing. Like I feel like you might be like comparing yourself to like people who are a little bigger than you. Then your competition keeps changing. It's like a never ending game. So I think to stay sane, you kind of have to like step away from that and keep evolving. Like be present on every platform. And even if you're doing a trend, like I feel like it really helps if you do it, which is not being done before. Like you do it with like a twist. That's, if you hop onto a trend early, it's okay, you'll get the likes. But I feel like if you're late, then you kind of have to be creative and do something to stand out. So yeah, I feel like it can be very overwhelming with like the deadlines, the brand, you're doing everything yourself. So I think it's important to have like a day. Okay, 10 p.m. my day ends, to stay sane. If you do it 24/7, after a point you start burning out. like it's really helped me. Like after 10:30 p.m. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna chill
Switch
for an
off.
hour and go to bed.
Yeah.
Switch off my brain.
No, I remember when Instagram was down multiple times, this tweet going around that finally hamari dukaan bhi band hui. You know, it's like our shop was finally, it had a shutter. Like influencers don't have any shutters because there is essentially no shop to close. But when Instagram shut down, it was the case. But what about you, Abhi and you?
So apart from everything else that other people on the panel have mentioned, one problem that we face is separating the artist from the machine. Like we consider our videos as art, and I'm sure everybody does. But at some point of time, we may have to become a machine. So how much is enough? How much can we let go of the control that we have on our art and hire people, hire help to do the redundant jobs that we do every day?
Right.
Because at some point of time, when you hire help, when there are other people doing your job for you, the audience is smart enough to make up. So yeah, that's the one problem that I would like to mention. I think.
Yeah.
Right. No, so I mean, yeah, essentially that, like, it's also just that, you know, tomorrow if you have your Twitter, your LinkedIn and all of that, and you feel like you're focusing only on YouTube, but you need to be active on those accounts, can you get someone to tweet or, you know, post on LinkedIn on your behalf? And just feel like the moment that starts to happen, it becomes really unauthentic and people are quick to catch on to things like that. But yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not fully scalable, but I mean, it's art at the end of the day. So cool. Thanks for a fantastic session, guys. I think we're done for the day. Thanks for the solid answers and inputs. Thanks to Woot and IWM for this fantastic opportunity. Just had a solid time. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Viraj. Thank you very much, Viraj, and thank you very much once again.